That's where they've grown up. That's their country. It's what they know is best for their agriculture, their culture, what their needs are. They know best. We don't know best, and we can't put this chokehold on them. I mean, we've already destroyed their countries. We've already created situations where fighting factions are recruiting young kids that have seen death and destruction, that see no other alternative. Okay, we've created that base by bombing their country.
And we've also created the corrupt political system that's governing the country, that keeps itself in power.
That's why we need to be out of there, and the people will take care of it themselves.
We haven't here.
We're working on it. We're working on it. And by that, I mean, the way it works here is the system here has, since its inception, has worked on racism, bigotry, immigration issues, even financial issues, by keeping all of these people apart. And that's why they're able to do what they're able to do. What we need to do, instead of fighting against each other, whatever the struggle is, whether it's a labor struggle, an education struggle, a race struggle, a sexual orientation struggle, whatever the struggle is, we need to bring those struggles together because we're all fighting the same beast, if you will. Yeah, it's all the same struggle. Yeah. It's all the same struggle, and they're very good. They have it fine-tuned to keep us all fighting against each other.
So I guess then an appropriate follow-on would be, as a gubernatorial candidate, should you get elected, what changes would you like to see in the state? What changes would your party make? How would you change Connecticut for the better?
Well, like I said, first of all, we would make public transportation. We would put more money into public transportation. In order for people to have jobs, they have to have a way to get there. And we would.
True.
And a lot of people can't afford a car. They can't afford a bike or whatever.
Public transportation is a wonderful thing.
It is a wonderful
and certainly some of the places I've been that have good public transportation system, Montreal being a good example, Boston. It's a wonderful thing. Certainly in this country, the problem can be in rural areas. It's very difficult. But
I'm very surprised in this area that, modern times hasn't caught up with.
Yeah, we do have some in the cities, but it could be a lot better.
It's very limited.
It's very limited. And that was one of the jokes about Cash for Clunkers. I heard a lot of people saying, it's like, it's great that you're giving me a discount, but I can't afford the car in the first place.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things we would work on, making public transportation. We would invest in that. We would look into making it easily accessible for more people.
No more monorails at the airport, though.
Yeah. And we would stop the education budget cuts. I mean, we need education. Our children need education. Sure. It's a disservice not to. We would start a jobs program, look into green energy jobs.
Minimum wage.
Yes, we're going to raise the minimum wage to
something
make
that's a livable wage.
A livable wage, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there was a study done last year where if you lived in New Haven County, you needed to have two and a half full-time minimum wage jobs just to afford a place to live.
Living wage is 2.5 times the minimum wage.
Right.
That's scary.
And it is scary because people can't survive on that. And when you have people that can't make ends meet and you have poverty, that's when you get into issues like drug and alcohol addiction, because people are looking for an escape.
Sure.
Higher crime rate. Another thing is New Haven has a great program. They have an ID card that any person living in the city of New Haven can apply for. You don't have to apply for it, but it's an ID card. It would be a second form of ID. And it helps the immigrant community so that they can be able to access libraries, bank accounts, open bank accounts, and that kind of thing. And how that would benefit is people that cannot get bank accounts now because they don't have a second form of ID or an ID card. Whatever money they do have, they have to keep in their home, and they're targets. They're targets
sure.
for crime, or they keep on their persons, and they're targets for crime. And these crimes can go unreported because people are so afraid of getting deported now, and that raises crime. It backfires. So that's one thing that we would try and implement is a statewide ID card for anybody that wants one.
Interesting.
Good idea.
Yeah. We're
10
going to
minutes.
run out of time before too long. No calls tonight so far, which is interesting. I really
Generally,
thought
it means that they're glued to the TV.
Yeah,
and
I-
they can't get to the phone. But
I really sort of thought we'd get some calls on that, but yeah, you never can tell. I don't want to get into a long thing with the military. Certainly, I'm no expert on the military, and I know that I would love nothing more than to see our young men and women not dying overseas. I don't know how to make that happen.
It's
And
way too
I
many.
don't claim to know how to make that happen, and I certainly support them wherever they are. I would love to see them be able to come home, but I can't make that happen. And I'm no expert on it. But I did want to ask you something, because this is in fact this is something that I had talked about with our last week's guest, who was a very lovely woman who works for the VA and works very hard to help the soldiers who come back.
readjustment or
Readjustment
transition
counselor,
or something like
very
that.
very cool.
Therapist. She's a therapist.
Yeah,
Readjustment therapist.
and it's so important because it is so traumatic. What our soldiers are going through is horrible, and it's just, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to not have had to go through that. I dated an MP some years back who did like 4 tours in Iraq, and he told me a lot of real horror stories, and I was amazed that he was as well adjusted as he was, but and he looked great in uniform. He really did.
That's a key.
but I'm a sucker for uniforms. I admit it. I'm a sucker for guys in uniform. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it was nice
It's
that she's.
hardwired.
It is, I guess. Yeah, it was nice that she's trying to help these guys. But I know I would love to see them come home. I don't know how to make it happen. And good luck to you on that one.
Yes, well, I mean, it's important. We need to bring them all home. And to have care when they get here. I mean, the VA is still getting cut in the budget. I mean, they're still taking money from the VA. They're not providing them with services that they
Right.
need. I mean, they spend weeks training men and women to go to war, but they don't give them any transition time to untrain them when
Right.
they come back.
And that's
here.
the same
what
thing
our-
she was talking about.
Right. That's what our
Right.
last
There's no
week's guest-
boot camp for how to be a citizen again.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And with everything, now I've never seen war. I only seen Texas. And but
So you've been to a foreign
can't-
country.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So I
wonderful.
can't speak on war experience itself, but I have many friends who have.
Right.
I have some very close friends who are in the actual invading force in Iraq in 2003. And they have to deal with the guilt of that every day of their lives. And now they work. One of the ways that helps them is they work to speak out against what's going on and to tell the truth about why we're fighting over there. Why our troops are sent over there. And that it doesn't benefit anybody but the corporations, the military-industrial complex, and the people deciding for them to stay over there and putting them in harm's way benefit. They benefit from the production of the tanks. They benefit from the productions of the bullets. They benefit from the productions, of the Hummers. Everything that goes into creating war. The people that have decided to put our men and women there benefit from those choices, and they don't care. They don't care that somebody's daughter or somebody's son or mother